Hi, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Well, Happy New Year to all our EWABian friends out there. Hope you had a great holiday. We're going to start off 2013 with a fabulous guest who's going to have lots of great information for you. It's Steve Lowell from Voices 123. He'll be here to answer our questions and probably your questions, too, about Voice 123 and peer-to-peer networks in general.
I know he wants to show some new features on their website, too. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be talking about how you can now finally record professional quality audio to an Android device. It's no longer the realm of only iOS and the iPad and the iPhone. So finally we can do it, and I'll share a sample I recorded and tell you exactly how you do it.
All right, and in my tip of the week, I'll be talking about how to be more resourceful and creative in your home voiceover studio.
Excellent. And I'll also have the tips of the week, and any questions you guys send in, we'd love to have them at ewabshop@gmail.com.
We'll see you this Sunday night, 9 o'clock in the East.
And 6 o'clock in the West.
We'll see you then.
He's the voiceover studio engineer of the Stars in Los Angeles, California, a Virginia Tech grad with a knowledge of recording studios unmatched in his field. He's a voice actor from Buffalo, New York, with 30 years experience in recording studios and behind the mic. He solves people's home voiceover studio problems in the blink of an eye. Together, there's no studio problem they can't solve, and they'll do it for you tonight. Welcome to East-West Audio Body Shop. Now, live from a basement in Buffalo and an office in LA, here are Dan Leonard and George Whittam.
Well, hi there. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. All right.
Happy New Year.
Woo! All right, whatever. I don't have my libation from New Year's, but I do have
Lovely.
my coffee. Yes. Anyway, how is everybody out there? It's 2013. Not too bad so far. Let's see. The NHL strike's going to be over for all you hockey fans. Although I must say the U.S. junior team won the World Championship in Moscow this week, so I'm like totally overwhelmed by that. We're desperate for hockey up here in the Northeast.
Apparently.
I'm telling you.
It's a world I don't often tread in, but
it's there.
We got different things to pay attention to over here.
Indeed. Well, we've got a great show tonight. Not that we don't usually have a great show. How many of you guys liked that show last week? I'm still laughing at, I don't realize how funny this show is until I actually go back and see some of the stuff that we do, because we're just flying by the seat of our pants here most of the time.
And we don't usually get to watch the show.
And we usually don't get to watch it.
Too much to do.
We're like part of it, So anyway, but that was George did a great job of cutting that together, and thanks everybody for all your suggestions for all of those.
Couldn't have done it without you guys. Yeah, there's no way we could have put all that together without everybody's contributions. And Dan helped me sequence it all, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. It was a blast to do that. It was, and it reminds us why we do this show, because it's fun. Exactly.
Otherwise, why do it? Anyway, but we've got lots of great stuff going on tonight. We've got our special guest is Stephen Lowell, who is the community director at Voice 123, which I'm sure many of you are members of and have lots of questions for him. And we've got some questions for him as well. And we're going to talk to him about what?
No pressure. No, I was just going to say no pressure or anything, Stephen.
No, none whatsoever.
Don't worry, man. It's going to be fine.
We have handcuffed him to his chair, though. So he'll be all set in about 25 minutes or so. So stay tuned for that. George has some interesting news to announce. I've got my tip of the week, which a little bit of storytelling, but it should be helpful to you.
Cool.
And what else we got going on?
I don't know. Did you get any cool stuff from the holidays, from Hanukkah or anything?
Let's see. Well, I didn't get. I got a couple of things. I showed some of those things, but I did work on something when I got really bored.
What's that?
This guy.
Yeah.
Now
it looks like a horseshoe.
It does. Now, as you know, I have a museum of microphones back here. And this guy's been sitting there for a while, and I've wanted to get him to work. What this is, I believe from the research I've done and the only other copy of this I've seen and where this probably came from is I believe it's a 1927, 1928 Bruno Labs prototype ribbon microphone. This thing is older than my mother. And not as old as my grandmother, who's been gone for some time, but close. This is probably one of the original ribbon microphones, and I re-ribboned it and got a transformer in it. And I'll bet you're all wondering what it sounds like. What would it sound like if it was 1928?
Dying to find out. I got my hand on the gain control.
Okay, good. There we go. All right, now it's probably a little bit fuzzy. Can you guys hear me out there?
Yeah, we hear you.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's just a simple ribbon element with and I can talk from the other side too, which is the cool part.
Talk close to it. Talk like 3 inches away.
Talk about 3 inches away. That's going to pop the ribbon.
Yeah, I can see the ribbon. I can actually make out the ribbon waving in the breeze when you pop it.
Isn't that something?
It's amazing.
Yeah, but it works.
It's like a humbucking. It's like a guitar pickup. Because when you turn it towards the computer, it's like an antenna. And it picks up the computer.
It's like a YouTube tube, But if I put my hand on it, it tends to ground it a little bit better.
Right there, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, okay. I'll just hold it this way the rest of the show.
Yeah. There you go, guys. Sorry.
Now let's go back to the other.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Whoa. Anyway, so this goes back in the display area of the Leonard Museum of Broadcasting Natural History.
I love it. That really does give you perspective, though, as to how far we've come with microphone technology.
Tell me about it.
I mean, a lot happened in about 30 years between the original carbon button mic, then the ribbon mic, then the Telefunken condenser mic. All that happened within like the span of only 20 or 30 years. And
pretty much. Yeah, and I've seen a bunch of them on eBay. I want one of those carbon spring mics, with the springs hanging on it. That's going to go on there, and I keep looking for them. Yeah. And I think there's actually one that's in an auction right now. But I haven't messed around with mics in a while. And when you get bored, that's what you do.
Oh yeah, getting bored. Looking forward to that one of these days. Yeah. Well, I got this.
Go for it.
I got this.
And the purpose of this is
the purpose of this is to drive your spouse completely crazy. Actually, no, it's the.
Then I doubt she's the one that gave it to you.
No, she did give it to me. I don't think she knew what she was getting when she got this thing. Ella loves playing with this. This thing is called It's made by Think Geek, and it's the Bliptronic 5000. So anyway, it's it's a very simple sequential synthesizer. It's something that anybody can play with. My daughter has a blast playing with this thing. She loves it even more than I do. I'll
bet she does.
That was I think the coolest gift I had. And then my wife got an iPad mini. So that's been a lot of fun to play with.
Yeah, that keeps her busy, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Now, now we're a little bit more on equal ground. I mean, she'd get so frustrated with how much time I was spending with my Android phone, which is sort of like my little mini tablet. And but now she's got the iPad mini, so we're definitely more on equal ground. But tonight she was cooking in the kitchen with it and using it to read her recipes. She was like, "This is so great."
Wait till she starts playing Words with Friends.
Oh yeah, no, she hasn't gotten into the games yet. Thinking she's into Flipbook, and she's into and she just appeared to give me a funny look. She's into Flipboard, and she's into Pinterest big time. She's got a little bit of Pinterest problem actually. No, she needs some help with that. But anyway, she's having a great time with it, and I can't wait to get my paws on it to start learning how to make it the ultimate portable recording rig. But anyway,
fabulous. Speaking of Androids and stuff like that, see, there's that segue.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I'll catch that and I'll run with it.
Good.
So the big news for us in the world of portable computing, those of us that do use Android, is that we can now record professional quality into an Android. What does that mean? Well, it means you can plug a USB audio device into an Android phone or tablet and record audio directly off the device. In other words, you get digital in. So it's something that's been the realm of the iPhone and the iPad for quite some time now, but finally it's become something we can do now. And thanks to this company that developed this software called USB Audio Recorder Pro. And what I'll do here, I actually did a little preparation, which is really unusual for me. But I actually did some preparation and got this all kind of lined up before the show. So I'm going to switch to that app right now and let you see what this looks like. Let me go back to main and cancel. And I have to operate this thing upside down, which gives me, balance, bonus points for a challenge. Okay, there we go. So this little app is called USB Audio Recorder Pro. Real catchy name, right? But if you're looking for it in the Google Play Store, you have to type in, make sure you get all those 4 words because there's other programs on there that will mislead you. But right now I've got this little USB cable here. This cable, this is the magical cable, right? This is what goes from the micro USB port on your Android device and converts it into a normal USB connector that can be plugged into almost anything. You can plug it into USB hubs, hard drives, flash drives, keyboards, mice, almost a lot of stuff. It's pretty amazing. So then I have that plugged into the USB audio device du jour, which just happens to be what I have kind of laying around. And this is the USB Dual Pre. It's made by ART or ART. It's like an $80 box. And let me show you the business end where the stuff plugs in. Here's the USB connector. The light tells me that it's working. It's got its own headphone mixer and monitor mixer on the back for monitoring. If you want to get that, if you really want to hear yourself while recording, it actually will do that. And then on this side is the mic in with your gain control. And I'm using this input here. So if I drag this microphone over in front of me, now I'm speaking into the Audio-Technica 3033. And there we go. We've got Lowell into the software. And it's in monitor mode right now. So it's just monitoring what's coming and it's not actually rolling. So I can hit record, start rolling, and there you have it. It's working. So rather than try to do play this back for you live on the show and all that stuff, I did do a little recording test a week or so ago, and I have that queued up. So I'll just let you hear what the results are and see if you guys are impressed or not. So here we go. All right, everybody out there who wanted to hear what the Android phone is capable of sounding like when plugged into a professional microphone into a USB audio device, well, here you go. This is the Audio-Technica 3035 plugged into a ART Dual Pre, which is arguably one of the least expensive mic preamps with a USB jack out there. But it's the only thing I have right now that's class compliant USB. And then that's feeding out of the USB Dual Pre by a USB cable into a USB on-the-go adapter, which then plugs into the base of my Samsung Galaxy S3 and is being recorded by...
Oh, that sounds pretty. It sounds better than that mic of mine.
Oh, well, the mic you just showed us? Well, yeah, I hope
sounds
so.
Much better than that.
God, that's not much of a bar to have to cross.
No, it's just a 70-year leap in technology.
Exactly.
Huh? Actually, 80 years almost.
But anyway, it does actually work. The software that I'm using to record does not. It's not an editor. It's just a recorder. So I'm using another little app called Tape Machine, and it's a very similar kind of feel in the way it works to. Twisted Wave, but for Adobe Audition. But it's for Android. So if you've been dying to be able to do this, you can now. And if you go to the website for a USB Audio Recorder Pro, they have a list of all the different devices that they have tested so far that will work with it. And it's quite a huge list. This thing that I have wasn't even on the list, believe it or not. I just figured I'd give it a try. But if you have any USB microphones, probably they're going to work because USB mics are generally what they call class compliant. In other words, they're almost always plug and play. Any device that's plug and play where you don't have to install software, it should probably work. So give it a shot. Let us know if you guys get anywhere with it and let us know what you think.
Is there a waveform on there and it edits the same way as Twisted Wave or...
Yeah, the tape machine, not the app that I'm using to record, because right now that's sort of a one-trick pony kind of an app. But the other application, which is called Tape Machine, does actually work and feel a lot more like Twisted Wave, where you actually have a actual recording interface with a waveform. You can click and drag, copy, paste, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty close to Twisted Wave. It's no Twisted Wave, but it's the closest I've found on Android. So
cool.
And that little demo, I recorded, I did a little bit of editing. I cleaned, I kind of trimmed it up and all that stuff. I did it all within the phone. And then I put it on Dropbox. So that entire process was done right off this little Galaxy S3. I never used a desktop for that. So would you want to do that every day? No way. No, but I wanted to get the cheapest USB mic just to try it out. So I have a Samsung Meteor coming. That's one of the. You ever seen those little chrome microphones?
Little guy looks like the radiator of a Ford of 1938 or so.
I have one of those coming just so I could have a mic to try out. No, somebody asked me if I got the blue Spark Digital under my tree. No, boo, I didn't get it this year or this time around. But I have another one coming to try out.
Good.
So there you go, guys. Give it a shot. Let us know what you think, and if anybody actually uses it to complete a job on the road, chime in. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, we really do. I'd love to hear what that sounds like.
I would like to hear about it.
I'd like to hear about it too. I'm just not an Android person.
Of course not.
I'm Mr. iPhone here. Anyway. All right. We got a lot more coming up here on East West Audio Body Shop, including Stephen Lowell from Voice 123 and Tip of the Week and a lot of other cool stuff. So stay right where you are.
And now, back to East West Audio Body Shop, where every week it's Apollo 13.
And we're back here on East West Audio Body Shop. Yeah, I miss the radio. I mean, we're sort of like on the radio here, but it's kind of fun to come out of the break and go, "Hey, we're back."
Yep, this is our little corner of the radio. This is the closest we're going to come to doing a radio show.
Very, very tiny little corner down here.
I think our corner is a little bit cooler and happening than many of the other little dark corners of the internet, actually, to be honest.
And growing. We got lots of people watching tonight.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Gotta love it, and that's the most important thing is you guys come here every week. Best to watch the show live and be in the chat room and participate so you can ask us questions or make fun of us, which seems to be the majority of the comments in there. But you show up every week, so we must be doing something right.
That's right.
Anyway.
Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Isn't that something?
Nice job, Dan.
Oh, thank you. No, we don't thank me. No, it's Uncle Roy and Rosemary. We'll have to figure out who did that. It's in the notes
Rosemary Benson. Thank you,
Rosemary Benson, who I met at Uncle Roy's picnic back on Labor Day when this huge thunderstorm came and forced us all inside. But no, so anyway, we've got some announcements. Let's see. We're still doing the EWABS memberships, guys.
That's right.
I mean, you don't think this, some people don't think, I don't know if I could use it. Listen, with some of the stuff we see in the forums, help, my mics don't work anymore. one email will solve the problem for you.
I clicked that update button by mistake.
Which update?
No. That's what I'm playing along. I'm saying.
Oh.
No. I did that update and now nothing runs. That kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Or my famous Canadian saying, "When in doubt, reboot." It's amazing how simple some problems are, but actually some of them are more complex, and you've got to understand the troubleshooting method of going through things. I think I did a tip of the week about that a couple of weeks ago, and we think about that kind of stuff. So it's just $39.95 a month, and you'll get instant access to George or I or both of us at the same time, which is a scary thought. Also, what's the latest with World Voices? Yeah. We are a go. We sent out the first invitations to members of the former accrediting entity, as we like to call it. And we have members, and we are starting up, and we are going to mass mail out the applications for everybody else who was on our database. So that's happening. We're ready to roll. We're all organized. You're going to love this, and you're going to love the website. Next up. What about those pop filters? Yeah,
everybody that ordered one by now should have gotten them, except for maybe a couple of you folks up in Canada. I had a little screw up and I had to reship those. So you guys should have those at the beginning of this coming week. But everybody else has them, and I've gotten great feedback. And if you have anything you guys want to tell us about your experiences with them, if you find it's really a valuable asset to your portable mic setup, or even if you're using it in your home studio, who knows? We'd love to know. And Mike Frenchick, who's the fellow that actually made those things, he would also love to know what you guys think of them too. So he checks in from time to time, and if everybody loves them, we're gonna, we'll make a run. We'll do another big run, and we'll get a lot more people using these things out there. We'll distribute them a little bit more widely than just our little corner of the web. But I'm happy with them. What do you guys think?
Well, mine's proudly hanging on my TLM 103 back in my booth here. So,
but what we all know about pop screens is, they're there to catch the stray, crazy pop with a stray blast of saliva. But generally, if you use your mic correctly, the pop screen is nowhere near as important.
Right. If you use your mouth correctly,
use your mouth correctly, right?
Which tends to be a problem for some people.
Don't frown when you talk.
That's right. Or then there's the old, if you talk with the finger in the way, you can say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers and it won't pop. Did that pop at all?
I think, did Pat Fraley teach us that one?
I think it was.
He's the first one I heard tell me that.
Oh, okay.
That kind of works. Yeah, if you're in a pinch, put a pencil. If you're in a pinch, put a pencil. Anyways.
The alliteration ends right there.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
All right, what else we got? Let's see. Oh, World Voices in Toronto, May 4th. I'm going to be there. I think in Elley-Ray, Hennessey, and I think Pat Fraley is going to be there. And if you're like in the Southern Ontario or, Western New York or Ohio or Erie or
driving
Detroit,
distance, is that what you're saying?
If you're within driving distance of Toronto, be a good opportunity to meet lots of your fellow voiceover folks and learn some cool stuff about voiceover and voiceover technology and voiceover. If Fraley's going to be there in Elley-Ray, you're going to learn a lot of great stuff. And if you just go to World Voices, let's see, it's World Voices in Toronto. If you go over to voices.com, I have to remember what the address is. You can register for that.
Cool.
Not too bad it's only one day, and then you can go shopping at Eaton's. Is Eaton's still in business? Pat, is Eaton still in business? Keep forgetting.
He'll chime in.
Yeah, I know. And let's see what else. Oh, you want to be one of our monthly sponsors? We do have to thank some of our donators last week.
Donators.
Donators, our contributors, our patrons. Yeah,
I'll read off some of them. I flagged them in the email box.
Outstanding.
We had contributions from, in the last couple of shows, Anthony Gettig.
Tony.
Pat Sweeney.
Yeah.
We also had a donation from, let's see, Eric Aragoni. And sorry if I said the name wrong. Yeah. Then we also had contributions from Steve the Voice, which is, I think, Steve Tardio.
Yep.
Mara Juneau came in and kind of blew our minds with a very significant donation. Thank you, Mara. You are fantastic, and you're all wonderful, but Mara, you're even more fantastic.
We love you. We love you all, but we especially love Mara.
Susan Bernard came in with a nice, hefty donation.
Thank you, Susan.
Diane Merritt. And if I'm forgetting anybody, please, in the chat room, chime in. But thank you, guys. You guys really gave us this nice push into the new year.
Yeah, when we really needed it, and the ads will be gone next time.
The ads, I promise, those big national ads you're seeing on Ustream are going to be out of there.
Yeah.
So
also, if you want to donate, if you just go right above George's head, if you're in the EWABS frame here, there's a donate button. Right, you can click that, and that will help us. Right. We're not profiting from this. You are. How you like that?
Nicely said.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. And let's see here. And if you have if you want to do that, just you can email us at ewabshop@gmail.com.
And if you have any questions you want to contribute to the show, you want us to cover anything, please ewabshop@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. We're East West Audio Body Shop on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
That way you never miss a show.
Outstanding. All righty. Well, it is time for my tip of the week. Mm-hmm. A little bit of storytelling this week. So roll it.
Here we go. Let me just get my background set and turn off the titles. And here we go.
Last week, I had to be creative to land a job. Now, the audition required me to do 2 voices, and it needed to sound like it was outside. Okay.
All right, we got our little video playback glitch, so I'm going to play it back in the main window, and that way you guys can see it more clearly. So just stand by while I get that ready.
Standing by. Every week, it's Apollo 13.
I test this every week, except this week.
This week.
This is the 1 week where I didn't test it. All right, here we go.
But it's worth it.
Okay. Just a little more juggling here.
Make sure you get it to the beginning.
Oh, it opened up with Twisted Wave. How handy. Let's open it up with QuickTime.
QuickTime.
There we go.
And here we go.
And then we'll drag it in front of this shot here. And we'll put it up here. And then we'll change this to this. And here we go.
Last week, I had to be creative to land a job. Now, the audition required me to do 2 voices, and it needed to sound like it was outside. I had to be resourceful. What were my options? Then I remembered something from 22 years ago when I was an operations manager / copywriter / production director at a local station. I had to produce a commercial with a great many sound effects to create the sounds of Western New York. Now, that required the sound of Niagara Falls. I couldn't find that sound on any of the sound effects records we had in our library. I had to think fast. I had to make that sound myself. Fortunately, it dawned on me that there was a small waterfalls right down the street. Now, this was before digital recorders. So I grabbed a cassette recorder, ran down the street, stood at the bottom of the falls, and recorded its sound. Back at the studio, I overdubbed that sound about 5 times, and voila! Niagara Falls! I studied with motivational guru Tony Robbins back in the mid-'80s, and one of the most important things he taught us was resourcefulness. Getting into a mental state where you can find options. Maximize your choices. As he likes to say, he with the most choices wins. Now, how does this apply to your home studio and your voiceover career? Everything. Every time you get a script, you have to come up with ways of doing it differently. How are you going to be unique? What are you going to do in your studio to win that audition or to solve a problem? Here's some hints on how to make it sound like you know what you're doing. 1. Don't be in a hurry. Patience. Remember Apollo 13? never panic. Yeah, they want it yesterday. But guess what? Too late. It's already tomorrow. 2. You hear this one a lot, but look outside the box. Don't limit yourself. There's all sorts of possibilities out there. So what do you do when you got to sound like you're outside? You go outside. Makes it pretty simple. Use Twisted Wave or another recording program on your iPad and just record it. Hey, Fred, how you doing? Great, Sam. How are you? Pretty simple. And now iPhones are great for recording too. Put Twisted Wave or something like that on there and you've got yourself instant recorder. So much simpler than it used to be. And did I get the job?
So use your imagination and natural sources and use your resources. And that's my tip of the week.
That was great, man.
Yeah, true story. Absolutely true story. And that Waterfalls actually has a few more stories, which I won't talk about here because you'll all go, huh? It's just some spiritual stuff that happened to me at that particular Waterfalls. But
trippy.
Yeah, totally changed my life. But I told you we don't need to discuss that. But it did serve me well for this ad. And that Sound of Niagara Falls, it was in there for about a second and a half of the spot. But that's what I did to go get that sound. When I just could have gone.
You know, today there's so much we take for granted because now if you want a sound, you can find it online in like 3 seconds, you know? And, you know, you had to be so much more resourceful at those days. But what
fun is that?
Yeah, but whether you record it yourself or whether you go find it, you still have to be resourceful and still figure out how to get it and how to use it. And, you know, when you record it yourself, you never have to worry about breaking copyright laws or getting the rights to something, you know.
Exactly. So, and if you got to record something, you just reach into your pocket, you get your iPhone or your Android, and you just record this thing. This is fabulous that you can record on this thing in really good quality.
The microphone built in is surprisingly good.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have, you know, this is falling apart. This is my Microtrack 2. You know, the battery just doesn't work on it anymore. Yeah. But guess what? This thing does just as well. And actually has more memory.
Yeah, more memory. And when the battery works a lot long, the battery's way better than the one in the Microtrack.
Yes. Anyway, that's my tip of this week. We got a lot of them. They're sitting in a virtual shelf somewhere collecting a lot of virtual dust. And and Stephen Lowell and I will actually talk about that in our next segment coming up. He's going to be joining us here in East West Audio Body Shop. Stephen Lowell, Community Director for Voice 123. Be with us in just a couple of minutes. So stay right where you are, and we'll be right back here on East West Audio Body Shop.
VO Studio Tech. Recording made simple.
Hi, I'm Peter McHugh.
This is Jim Tasker from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Bill Ratner in Los Angeles.
Hi, this is Scott Rummel here in Yorba Linda, California.
Hi, my name is Rick Wasserman.
Hi, this is Tom Kane.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Marshall.
Hi, my name is Zurich.
Hi, I'm Mary McKittrick.
Randy Thomas chiming in.
Hi, this is Joe Szymanski.
Hey, this is Rick Robles.
Hi, my name is John Patrick Armstrong.
I was turned on to George by none other than Don LaFontaine, who always swore by his health.
George is absolutely awesome.
ISDN, Source Connect, Phone Patch, FTP, you name it, George has set it up.
It's really the best thing I've ever done for myself. I feel free, safe, fearless, like anything is possible in here.
Unless you like to look for opportunities to waste time, call George.
And he did all of that, long distance over the phone and the internet.
I'm very happy with George, and I cherish him.
Thanks, George. You make it easy.
So what else were you planning on doing tonight? I thought so. Now back to East West Audio Body Shop with Dan and George.
And we are back once again here on East West Audio Body Shop. Another Sunday night, more information to shove down your throats. How much stuff can we come up with here? Well, we do. Just amazes me. But right now it's time for our exceedingly special guest because he's a special guy and a busy guy. It's like he's constantly at his terminal typing out something. Terminal. Yeah. We use the word terminal anymore?
Terminal.
Yeah, it's with the punch cards and the tape, and suddenly I'm back in college in 1980 and doing punch cards. Stephen Lowell from Voice 123. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for having me here too, Dan. It's really and George too. Really, just a great pleasure to be able to do this with you guys.
We've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I know our audience has too. But let's talk a little bit first. We'll talk a little bit about you, but let's talk a little bit about Voice 123 and what's the history of that? I mean, I've been a member, I think, since Alex first plugged it in, because I was there at the dawn of voiceover, as was Voice 123. But give us a little bit of a rundown on that.
Sure. Voice 123 started, we're going into our 10th year now. We've been around since June of 2003. And at that point, it was a project with Alex Tornegra and his wife, Tanya, who's also a voice talent. And they started it out of Queens, New York, in a very small apartment with one server. And from there, it grew very, very fast in about 3 months. Now, there are reasons for it. I think sometimes with businesses, like starting at the right time is a big part of it. And there was, a little issue with, well, this is my opinion now, by the way. This is just my history of it, is that there was a little thing with.
We won't tell anyone. That's okay. It's just the two of us. Yeah.
I think a big reason, because voices.com came about 9 months later, and I think a big reason these sites took off had a lot to do with a failed union merger years ago, and it was a time where people were thinking, I'm tired and I want to do this and I want to work from where I want to work, and the technology was getting better. So it gave people an opportunity, and there were people working online anyway. I mean, for
just
long
a
before,
few.
Yeah, I mean, just but I mean, long before we came along, and then I think we were just really a website that was the first one to put them all in one place.
Yeah, well, I personally think the industry would not have even happened. I mean, it probably would have happened, but I think the peer-to-peer networks, especially, since Voice 123 was one of the first ones, I think it had a major impact on why there are so many people getting into this business. Not all of them are succeeding, but there are a lot of people in the business.
No, that's true. I think so too. I think though that I think that started maybe back in 2000. There was some industry things that were happening. There was some turbulence there from 99 to 2004. And, people were looking for more work.
This is actually interesting for me because I didn't get into the voiceover industry in any way, shape, or form until about 2005. So it's interesting to hear what happened in those first 5 years before that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, too, is that the internet really sped the learning process up, because everything that Dan tells you guys out there, I got to tell you, that cost $5,000 to $10,000 to learn back in 1995. And that the fact that it's out there right now, if I clicked on that donate button and donated exactly what I was donating to those people who did those chop shop demos and the fly by night information that you paid $5,000 to $1,000 for, I mean, you guys would be rich. You'd be loving me right now.
Yeah. So what exactly is your job over there? I mean, we see your name over there a lot, and what exactly is it that you do over at Voice 123?
I do lots of things, and that started because I came into the position. I was the very, very first voice talent that had I was the very first voice talent that came from the marketplace into the actual employee, staff. So I've done a bunch of things. I've done customer service managing, community management, public relations for a little bit. Because when you're an actor, you got to have more than one job. So I had a bunch of experience coming in, and I mean I've done tons of stuff. I mean I write copy for the website. my blog. I've written over 1,000 blogs, and I do a lot with content generation, trying to put a lot of content out there that helps people. I moderate forums. I answer probably around 5,000 emails a month. And I do quality assurance on demos, and listen to auditions, and there's always something going on. It's always something.
Yeah, and suddenly it's time for lunch. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, around 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Oh, so you do the quality control on some of the demos and stuff. I remember doing one once where I had to do it they wanted it to sound like it was a baseball game in the 20s or something. I could have grabbed my old mic for it. I think I actually did. And they tossed it back. No, the quality on this isn't good. It was supposed to sound that way.
Well, therein lies sometimes where we accidentally hit a button and go, oh my God. So you sit there, you tap your fingers, and you go, all right, well, Dan's going to get this automated message that we send out, and here it comes. And
so
sorry, Dan, it was a mistake.
It happens. I didn't get the job. I probably didn't do it very well anyway, but it's really not relevant. So it must be a fascinating job, though. I mean, probably the most fun you've ever had professionally.
Definitely. It's a dream too. I mean, because I started in 1992, and this was when conversational was just becoming something that you can sell. And there were so many people that I wanted to meet for so long, and I met them within the course of like 5 years here. I mean, I've met Debbie Derryberry, Susan Blue, Bob Bergen. I mean, all these guys that I was reading their books and studying, and and doing the old school Northeastern way of staying indoors for 6 months and going to school, and it was just to meet them so fast was fascinating. I mean, and just to find out they're real people was a big deal too, because when I started, I didn't think they were real. It just seemed like a level I would never get to.
Well, but that gave you the opportunity to do that, and the rest of us too, to get into the business and get lots and lots of auditions, which I think is probably one of the most valuable things that you can really get out of one of the peer-to-peers. But let me ask you, what really is the nature of the P2P networks, and what it is that it takes to put that type of thing out every day, 24 hours a day, the way it seems. Who's out there at 3:30 in the morning? Who's presenting an audition at 3:30 in the morning? What is going on there?
One of our best, one of the voice talent I know that's been the most successful actually lives in South Africa and belongs to unions in 6 countries. And his name is Adam Bear. And I've seen his name in movie credits and stuff too. And, I think that's the thing about people who work online. They're more industrious. They're more do-it-yourself. They're not the type of people who will wait for anything.
The go-getters for sure.
Yeah. There's obviously more to it, but I think like it with peer-to-peer networks, it just gives people the opportunity to be this way. I've tested the website tons of times too, and I had a couple days over the summer where I said, you know what? Let me go for it. Let me see what it's like to do like 20 to 50 auditions in one day. I was sick for like 3 days after that. I had like I had throat issues. I caught like some sort of a I don't know what you call it, like a throat flu or something in the middle of July.
It happens.
It's hard work.
Oh yeah, but you learn eventually to pick the stuff that's right for you. I thought you were putting on an oxygen mask there for a second.
That's what they say, though. The work is the auditioning. The people that work a lot in voiceover, the work is the auditioning, the getting the jobs, and once you have the job, that's the fun. That's the fun part.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting when that happens.
Yeah. So what do you think is really the secret to succeeding? I mean, there's the obvious stuff. You got to be good at this.
Yes.
I mean, you've got to be a good voice actor, but is there any way to at least give you somewhat of a competitive advantage? And you and I have talked about this before, and it made a big difference in how I presented myself online. So what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm going to throw something back. Not to date anybody, but I want to know. I was this young too. You remember the 70s and how creative the 70s were. You know, we had disco. We had.
I sort of remember parts of it.
Yeah, we had bell bottoms, those horrible shirts. You know the thing. Well, in this day and age, creativity is everything, and anybody can get a home studio. Anybody can get sound quality. Anybody can learn how to communicate online. But the kicker is, when you get behind that microphone, are you going to be creative enough? I mean, because there are so many people who follow rules, and you're really not supposed to. You're really supposed to be an artist. You're supposed to throw yourself out. Throw yourself out there so that, you know, you take risks, you take chances. And I come across so many people who say, well, Stephen, you know, I watched Dan Leonard's stuff and my audio quality is perfect and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And that's the one question I hate when people ask me that, to be honest. When they say, what am I doing wrong? You know, that's your problem right there. You said you're an artist. Artists don't ask, what am I doing wrong? There is no absolute, you know, right to this business.
That's right.
Yeah, it's I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cough.
It's okay. No, we heard that you're getting over something, man. We appreciate you're trying to fight that off.
Yeah, it had swollen glands or something like that, but
yeah.
That's what you get from hanging out with family and 53 kids and
Yeah, no kidding.
I got a big family. I'm part of that Lowell, Massachusetts chain of people. I'm actually a sixth tree descendant of that.
Wow,
big family.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So you've got some new features coming up at Voice 123 too.
Yes.
There's been a couple of changes. Like we can actually like go into our outbox on our iPad and stuff.
Yeah, what we're going to be working on this year, and let me tell you, thank God. I mean, I think about like the last 5 years, and the website hasn't changed that much because the casting system worked. And it was, you know, to change things too quickly or, you know, such and such, it's kind of a pain in the neck to deal with. But finally, we're getting around to getting rid of the Flash players, making it iOS compatible. We redid the homepage recently, so it doesn't look like a whole, you know, biblical explanation of the text of, you know, what goes on the site. So it's really, we've got that going on. And, you know, I think of, there's a wish list out there, and this guy I work with was telling me about it, David Lisinski. It was great voice talent who just came on board. There's over 300 things that, you know, that people have requested over the past few years. And we're getting to all of it. So I'm very, I'm very excited about it, you know, just really am, just because I've worked with the same system that you guys have. And, you know, so I'm sorry. So
just
what
take
happened?
a hit of oxygen.
Hey, if you got a cough, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
This ain't TV.
There's no network. We're not waiting for the news or anything.
All right, good. No, but it's we're getting rid of the Flash players, so you'll be able to get it on mobile and, you know, iPad. And what else do we got? Also, things like from the communications end of it, like voice seekers. You know, they're, believe it or not, you know, I think sometimes our website makes voice seekers look evil when they're really not. That's a personal opinion I have towards communications of it. Voice seekers tell me all the time that they want to find somebody, that they want to send thank you notes, that they appreciate what voice talent do. And I post some of this feedback sometimes on our Facebook page just to show people, like, you know, they're not so bad. They're not trying to kill you guys. And, we're trying to put in communication tools that will allow them to do that. You know, and it's really important. It's more important than you realize. I mean, because acknowledgement. I mean, Dan, every time you talk about something that you've studied, I'm in shock, because you studied, what's his name, Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I worked very closely with Tony Robbins many years ago.
I actually was a big student of his too. I also love history, and I'm a hockey goalie as well. So we have these weird things in.
That's really strange. Yeah.
But it's I forgot what I was saying. Oh, but Tony is what the heck was I talking about? I forgot now completely.
Well, let's just move on from there.
Yeah,
Then.
we got lots of other questions. No problem.
Yeah, we got lots of questions.
I got to tell you, I did a Q&A show once with Voice 123, and it went on for 4.5 hours. Now I know you should do that, but
we're not going to do that. Don't worry.
We've done 2, but 4.5 that gets pushing it a bit.
I've got that Woodstock stamina. If you got it, so.
All right. Anyway, one other quick thing before we get some of our audience questions.
Sure.
You've been kind enough to take my tips of the week and throw them into voicing the dream. We're going to start that. We started that last week.
Yes,
and that's going to be every week for the next 120 weeks.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that too. That's the kind of content that I love to have online. That's the kind of thing that that's the stuff that makes people better. It's the kind of thing that when they're saying, I'm doing this, I got my audio quality, I got audio quality this, audio quality that. I'm just like, look, that's only part of the game. Get that out of the way.
That's true. Well, let's go to some of the questions we have from our studio audience.
Okay, I told you
our virtual studio audience. Yeah. For example, Steve wants to know casting directors in New York City, because you're a New York City talent.
Right.
Casting directors in New York City want you to come to their office or a studio to audition for in front of them. Well, that's peer-to-peer sort of changed that a little bit. And now in Los Angeles and just about everywhere else, you can record an MP3 and email it to them. Why isn't New York City following what the rest of the country is doing with emailing MP3 auditions? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's because of the ecosystem of New York City, because if you get on the 1 train or the N train, you can get off at any stop that's near a sound production house. And there's a lot of sound production houses in New York City that are still very busy with regular traditional media. So if you said to me like. If you said to me, Steven, I need you, let's say you're at 45th Street and Broadway, and you said, Steven, I need you to record this. If I record it and email it to you, it's going to take close to the same amount of time as it would take for me to get on a subway and go to your place anyway. So there's still in the major market, at least in New York, people are protecting the ecosystem a bit. I've been in casting directors' offices and people have found out where I worked, and I didn't get the nicest looks, but because they see us as competition, but no, it still exists, and I hear a lot of discussions sometimes of people saying about websites like ours killing the industry. It's really not. It's just changing a certain way that a certain type of work gets done.
That's right. What is the biggest misconception about Voice 123 that you could like to address? I'm sure you have nothing to say about that.
Wow. Oh, man. How much time you got?
As long as your voice holds out.
As long as your voice holds out, which doesn't sound like very long. But
I'm sorry. No, I think what the biggest misconception is that still in this day, like 10 years later, the biggest misconception is that when you're not booking work, it must mean that the audio files that you're submitting for auditions are being stolen.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not. That's a big misconception, because the reason why Voice 123 has voice talent working for them, we did it from market perspective. I mean, if you want somebody to help run a business and do customer service for people who, work out of a booth in their basement, you should hire people who work out of a booth in a basement, so that they understand, the what they're looking at, and you don't have to like reteach them, everything. So we really, we really screen voice seekers very hard, for people who post. I mean, you always get some who get past the gate, but I mean, spam is still around. You still have Canadian pharmacies, and that's because there's one person who falls for it every day. So
that's true.
Can't get around it. So
yeah, Mark Schwartz, who's been sitting around for an extra hour. He must think this is Rush Limbaugh. He was on like an hour before the show. Stephen, do you see the industry taking a new turn? For example, conversational fading out in favor of something else. Is it on a decade or longer cycle when things typically change?
I don't think that the creative end of it has changed as much. I'm giving my opinion of this now. I think the turn that will happen is the traditional forms of casting that have existed before online will start to work online. I wrote this in a thing called the voiceover guide. I actually had a prediction that agents would come back and they would have to do it through websites, which would really put the screws to websites like ours, and then we would have to think of something to do too. But that's really the turn I see ahead. I don't really see, I think the creativity is so important now because now you got new forms of media like Google Apps, Zynga games, all these different types of media that there are no set standards or industry rules for. So it's, I don't know. I think the biggest turn is not in the copy reading. I think it's in the way people are going to be doing business in the next couple of years. And I don't say that in a negative way. I think it's going to be great. I think it's, I'm all about making money. So,
well, aren't we all?
Yeah, I mean, from the voice thing. I don't
yeah. Then why are we doing this show?
Oh, you know what? I want to touch something actually.
Sure.
You just actually reminded me. One of the misconceptions about the website that's really huge is that we have hundreds of thousands of people. Did you know that we have this close to the same 4,200 people using Voice 123 to get work that we did for the last 5 years?
Really?
Now, if you think about that now, 3 million auditions, over 100,000 demos to QA, and only 4,000 people, there's a reason why I know all you guys. I've heard you. I sometimes go on Facebook and say, I think I just heard such and such in the thing. And so it's you get to know people. It's a small world of people who can get work.
Yeah. Here's a good question, because this one drives me nuts too.
Okay.
Although I'm very careful about it. Can we change an audition in our outbox if the client hasn't opened it yet? Oh shoot! I didn't want to send that. Can we fix that?
We'll fix that for you.
Okay, that should be one of the new improvements, I think.
Yeah, it's an improvement we have to work on, but we'll fix that for you. It's a little trickier than it takes more development than I realized, because we tried to do that. There's a thing like where you send something in and then you click on modify audition proposal, but it wasn't really working that well. So our staff is very cool about sending the right thing back, or fixing it.
Right.
And that's why we have live chat from 8 a.m. till midnight because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. About 85% of our voice talent are from North America.
Yeah. Is it important to get it in there quickly? I mean, if I see something in there, and it's and I'm very, very selective about the stuff I pick on there. If it's it said it got to be at a certain level of budget and stuff like that. But if I see it and it's like, oh, nobody else auditioned for this yet, boom, it's in there.
Yeah.
Usually, I will get a rating out of that, and it's like, well, is it because they saw me first or because they really liked what I did?
You touch on something that is true. I don't think being first has anything to do with getting hired. I do think it does play a little bit into getting ranked, because they're like those things when you have a new toy that you'll try out for the first couple times, and then as you start to go along, you're thinking, do I got to keep doing this? And then you just want to listen to make sure that you got something, that you wanted. So I do think it has more to do with getting rated, but not getting hired, though. I mean, we have, I think, over 78% of the auditions on the website are opened. So on average, you're only going up against, I'd say maybe the same 20 to 50 people all the time. So sometimes they don't need to rate you again. But, they may already have you. Voice seekers have accounts too, and they save people, and they come back and forth to the website, and all that information is available. I tell people all the time, always audition for those repeat buyers. those who keep coming back, go after those guys because they're your connections.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And we use I often call Voice 123 like an eHarmony of voice casting. So
Dan is starting to freeze up on Skype, and I'm gonna see if I can get him back by just reconnecting. So stand by.
Once they hire you,
I'm gonna call you right back. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Clunk.
Let's see if we can refresh the connection here.
Okay, you got me back?
Stand by. Waiting for Dan's camera to come back. And
where's my camera?
Go ahead and pick up where you left off, Steve.
Okay, wait. I forgot what I was talking about.
That's okay. Sorry, brother.
I think I was talking about ratings with being hired first, or you know, how important it is to be first.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that on Voice 123 specifically, it's not life or death that you have to be first. There are lots of other casting websites out there. There's things like, the Craigslist and Elance too. And on those where they're very open job board type things, being first is, yes, it's very, very important because there's going to be a lot of people who jump right in right away. So they're going to get a potpourri of things. And if they get that first good one in the first 50, that's how other sites work. That's an important thing too about the websites too. I mean, going from website to website, you got to change up the way you use it because the clients change too. So it's almost like when you post things on Twitter versus Facebook, you don't write the same way. You change the way you talk a little bit, and such is the case with casting websites too. Each owner has a vision as to how it should work, and you have to sort of roll with however the website is how you say it, like the clients, however they want to hire on the website, you got to roll with that.
Yeah. All right. Here's one that everybody wants to ask about.
Okay.
And I know you've got an opinion about it.
Okay.
And I'm back in the picture here. I see.
Yep. You're good.
Go figure what's going on with
That's I warned you. Skype is
Skype is wonky tonight.
Yes.
But Voice Bunny. I'll just say Voice Bunny. Ready? Go.
That reminded me of the skit on Saturday Night Live with Libya. I got a great question here. I got to think. All right. About Voice Bunny. I told you, I think we had brought this up, and I got to tell you, I honestly don't know much about it. The main reason being is that I worked with it initially some 8 months ago, and I don't anymore. So as for what they're doing and, the development I see, I really don't know. I'm out of the loop because there's a lot to do with Voice 123. So I just kind of,
you're kind of busy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, it really is like that. I mean, I've worked in big companies before. Like I told you once I worked for AIG, which is not the most pleasing thing, but I had a T-shirt for AIG, and after I left there and the whole government bailout, I was wearing it one hot summer day, and someone threw a rock at me.
Oh, jeez!
And they said, "Oh, you work for the devil?" I was like, "No, I actually used to." But that's the thing, though. It's hard to see when you're, when the website is connecting website to website. Alex Tornegra founded both of them. He's a business entrepreneur. He has about maybe like 10 or 11 businesses, covering travel and other sorts of things. And, I guess, whenever a business starts, you have your mission statement and it, but I'm just so far out of the loop of that now.
Yeah.
I'm
finding it kind of weird. I mean, I joined up and, they're asking me to rate other people, but I haven't gotten one invitation for anything yet.
Yeah. And I've, gosh, I don't even know what the heck that is.
You are out of the loop.
I really am. It's just that Voice 123 was the job that I was, put into in 2007. But Alex is, he's a smart guy. He knows how to really make a good website. And for now, it's like one of those things. If they want my help, I'll help. But if they don't, I don't know.
Yeah. Here's another question. What about minimum bids? Because I'm always wondering about that one. Okay. I don't particularly like the idea that it's an auction. I'm not bidding on a contract to pave a highway somewhere. Yeah, they're trying to find the best. They're trying to keep within a budget. But if you want a good quality voice person, there are certain rates that they should probably stick to. Has there been any discussion about that?
Well, minimums. Do you mean like a website proposing what a minimum should be?
Yes.
Oh,
or even allowing.
I don't really believe that a website should propose what minimums are. I don't, because I think that you live in Buffalo, George lives in California, I live in New York City. We all have different overheads, and that's the thing. But I'll tell you, I'll tell you one thing though, is that on Voice 123, I should say, like, almost 99% of the time, no one ever changes what the budget was. The main reason being is because the voice seeker, this is new to them, so they don't know what they're supposed to charge. Then there is the voice talent who is like, wait a minute, I'm working from home. What is the standard industry rate? Because there was always these standards that you would follow, but when you're working from home, there's really no standard. Now, so it's pretty much like do it yourself. But if you have this sort of, thing where the seeker doesn't know what to charge and the voice talent doesn't know what they should be charging, I would rather leave that up between the two of them. I know it sounds maybe dismissive, but if the website, if I put on a website that you have minimums, and I'm going to sort of take a stab at another company here, if I put that your minimums are like $100 to $250, but then there are other minimums that are much higher, what are you going to go for first? Are you going to go for the Christmas tree that costs $25, or the one that costs $50, or the one that costs $75? It's psychology of money. I mean, if I'm not going to, I'm going to try the lowest one first to teach myself what I'm going to get. And that's what I don't like. I don't like minimums for that reason. I think it should be left up to the voice talent to really say, I live here, this is how much I cost, and such and such.
I think we lost Dan again.
Do we?
Well, I'm here somewhere.
You're there.
Probably.
Just no picture.
Oh, okay.
But we can hear you. That's good.
Okay, well, that's the most important part. My picture should be up there, though.
The mustache looks good, though.
Yeah, no, my picture's coming back right
there it is.
Now. Okay.
Right on.
So go figure. I figured out how to fix it. And anyway, Steve, we don't want to wear your voice out anymore here, but I mean, that's...
If you want to keep going, I'm good, but it's up to you.
Well, we do have some limitations. My son has to go to bed.
Yeah, we actually do have an out.
Yeah, we do. We do need to get out of here. But it's fascinating having you on. We'll have to have you on again and talk a little bit more as the site continues to develop. And I love the work you're doing over there. And it's fabulous of you to come join us here. And I want to thank you for getting the tips of the week on there. The people can watch them. If you missed any of them, they're going to be on. I don't know if I'll have them in order, but they'll be on every week on the Voice the Dream. So people should RSS into that blog, should they not?
Yeah, totally. You know what happened? I got distracted there. I ended up looking at the questions on the EWABS page.
Oh yeah, that'll distract you.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I wasn't.
It's to us.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I'll answer some in there if that's okay. I don't know if that's going to pull anything away.
No, you can hang out in the chat room if you want and keep going. We're gonna go into the last segment of the show here in a minute, but we really appreciate you putting so much into the show tonight.
Hey, no problem at all. Sorry I was losing my voice there a little bit. It's
Hey, well, you hung in there for 40 minutes. That's not bad.
Yeah, believe me.
This man is professional. Do try this at home. Anyway, Stephen, thanks for being with us tonight.
Hey, my pleasure, Dan. George, too. Thanks so much for having me on. I hope I can do it again sometime.
I'm sure we will.
Okay.
All righty. We'll be right back here in East West Audio Body Shop and clean things up just a little bit. Where's my bro?
VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com.
Welcome back to EWABS. We were expecting you, but we still didn't bake a cake. Here's Dan and George. So what else were you planning on doing tonight? I thought so. Now back to East West Audio Body Shop with Dan and George.
Are we back?
Yes, sir.
Or is this my front?
This is for real. We are back.
Okay. And we're back, and it's time to talk about our good buddy out of Chicagoland, Mr. Harlan Hogan, and his fantastic voiceover equipment website, voiceoveressentials.com. Now, I know Harlan's got some new stuff coming out. He hasn't announced it yet.
I know. We're all waiting.
We're all like waiting with bated breath. What the hell does that mean anyway? Bated breath.
Please explain. I've always wondered too.
Someone look that up on Google, would you? Anyway, but there's some new stuff coming out. But of course, all the other great stuff that he does have, like the voiceover, recording light. You need one of those, especially if you're at home and you got to hang it on the door outside, so people don't bother you.
Exactly.
Although he's got this great one. It's just, get the do not disturb signs when you're in a hotel and just throw that on the door.
I know. It's one of my favorite tips of all time.
It's like, I hadn't thought of that. But he's got those signs, some interesting ways of displaying them. Also, the automatic switch to turn it on and off. So I mean, like I've got my automatic switch, so I can turn my holiday lights off and on, and he's got those. He's got, of course, the VO1A, which is a fabulous microphone. If you're starting out, price point on that is really, really good, and it's a really, really good mic.
And you can get a package with a USB interface, and you can get it with the MicMate Pro, or for a little bit more dough, the MicPort Pro, which gives you a little more flexibility. It gives you the ability to record at higher bit rates and has a slightly higher quality preamp. And so, if you want the next step up, the MicPort Pro is the way to go.
Yeah. So go on over to voiceoveressentials.com. He's made all the decisions for you. Well, not all of them. But he's got access to just about everything over there, and but he's got the stuff that he thinks will do good for you and save you trying to make all sorts of choices. Like I say, hanging out in the checkout line at the supermarket and trying to decide what mints or gum to buy. That's a lot what the equipment can be like. VoiceOver Essentials makes that a little bit easier. And thank you, Harlan, for keeping us going here.
Thank you, Harlan. You are the man. You've been hanging in there with us from pretty much the get-go, and we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All righty. Well, got a few more things to talk about here, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Let's check.
Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements. Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements. Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements.
Okay.
Check 1, 2. Sorry,
Testing.
guys. Operator,
1, 2.
that was operator error.
Oh, you don't want the operator error.
For the last, I don't know, 3 minutes, I think people were hearing a jingle.
Oh.
Yeah. It was almost a flawless show. At least
almost by our standards.
Close is not counting horseshoes. Only counts in horseshoes and
hand grenades and the occasional nuclear weapon.
Anyway, so you were saying, Dan, that you're a member of voices.com as well as Voice 123, because how could you be only in one of the two, right?
Right. I mean, they're the two major ones. You know, there's all these other Johnny-come-latelys and also rans and another one that I just will not participate with. And it's a great way to get lots of audition material and really find where your niche is. You know, I mean, I do a lot of commercials, but I've discovered e-learning through that because that's what they were hiring me for. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I need to audition for more of these. But and I've got some great clients that keep me busy doing e-learning. So you know, you should always be a member of one of those, and you got to market yourself as well. And because I know Steve Tardio was asking about that, how do you market yourself? It's a long book, and there's many books on the subject. And it's not just voiceover marketing. It's basic guerrilla marketing, getting yourself out there to the right people. And, you know, it's making phone calls and all those other things.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we had a couple questions in the come into us in the inbox this week.
Let's go over them.
@gmail.com. Actually, questions... What I meant to say was a couple of news clips. I think we covered the questions actually pretty well. We did have one that came in from. Actually, we did have one question that came in from Keith, which I know you emailed him back already, Dan. But he basically, you know, asked some of those kind of where do I start questions, you know?
Yeah.
And well, where do you start? Start by watching our previous 76 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to be honest. You got a little catching up to do. There's a lot of helpful information on those shows.
Yeah, from the best people in the business.
You know, well, yeah, not just us. Not to toot our horns.
We're the best at what we do, but
yeah,
you know.
no. I mean, we have. Believe me, go back and the show notes. We're kind of working backwards on some of the show notes. We're falling a little bit behind. We're working on catching up on show notes, but. There's quite a lot of show notes on there. You can do searches and search on YouTube as well, because we try to put a lot of helpful tags in the YouTube videos. So if you're looking for a topic about a certain, you know, a video that covers a certain topic, or you're looking for something about that a certain guest that was on the show, chances are you can probably find it through our YouTube page as well. So that's, you know, it's a long story. How do you start? But start with what you can afford. Don't start out in voiceover in debt, trying to buy the best equipment. The worst thing you can do, in my opinion, I think, is call someone like me and say, I want what Don LaFontaine had in his studio.
Like, that's going to make a difference.
And believe me, I've had that call or that email, and it's turned into some, you know, long-standing clients, and you know, it's great. But I will never sell something they don't need, ever. I'm really sensitive about cost. I am not a working voice actor. I don't stand to gain anything from selling any one particular kind of equipment or microphone. And I know Dan too is extremely, you know, it's just about what works in the home studio. And every situation is different. Dan and I both have worked in or around or with hundreds of home studios. We've tried almost everything you can imagine. And, you know, I'll get a clip saying, which of these two mics do you like? The Bach 241 or this Cathedral Pipes, blah, 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 you know, like two $3,000 plus tube mics, you know, and I go, hey, they both sound pretty good. You know, pick one, you know, it's like,
try this one.
Yeah. I'm not going to go there, but anyway, yeah, you know what? I would not say to jump on the snowball. I wouldn't go there. I think the USB mics have come a long way since since the snowball. But hey, there's an email that came in actually during the show from Alex Rain. Hi guys, double window in my studio, single pane, 71 by 42. That's a big window.
That's a big window.
If you're talking inches, that's a big window. And he's in Texarkana, so we know that he's speaking in English measurement, imperial. A lot of noise leakage. I need to block the sound. Can I use drywall and night Celotex for a plug? What's best? How do you seal it? What do you use for gasket material? Thanks.
Boy, that's a lot of material to plug up a wall like that. It's called take the window frame out and put a wall there.
Yeah,
unless of course you're renting, which case it could be a problem.
Yeah, he didn't say whether he was renting or owning, but if you're renting or you're owning and you just don't want to make that kind of a commitment, you've got the right idea. Sandwich of drywall and maybe Celotex or drywall and that sound board you can buy at Home Depot. Basically, you kind of want a sandwich of at least 2 different layers. And then what kind of a gasket material? I would say if you were to back this whole thing with basically a foam layer, like a dense foam, or you could do a perimeter of neoprene, like that weather stripping. You could have strips of it's closed cell foam. It's usually black.
Right.
You could do a perimeter of that all the way around. But believe me, be prepared to be a little frustrated because the bigger the opening, the harder it is to get something to fit tightly and fill the entire space. I mean, I've been there, I've done that. I've made window plugs and it can take a lot of patience to get it to fit. The windows are not always exactly square, I found out. So
yeah, really. And you're going to have to do that if you're like next to an airport or something.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, the idea is you want to find the quietest possible place in your place of residence. So if you're going to do it by a big window, that's not a really wise choice if you're getting a lot of sound leakage through there. Plus, windows do another interesting thing this is the amazing thing about what we do is we've discovered these things about the nature of sound transmission in a house.
Yeah.
So if you're like a mile or 2 away from a highway, that window actually acts like an amplifier.
Right.
It will like vibrate the sound of a highway 2 miles away, and you don't notice it because your brain sort of filters it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's not good to be by a big window. You know
what else amplifies sound instead of deadens it sometimes?
What's that?
Whisper rooms. Isolation booths. They're made out of huge sheets of wood. And what else is made out of a wood? Bass guitar, or a bass, an acoustic bass. They have to be large, right? They have to be large to resonate low frequency. Well, a big box has a resonant frequency. And if you're unlucky enough to have it in the wrong place in your house, or worse off, a corporate building where there's huge air handling systems. One of my clients, I won't name names, but he bought the primo double wall enhanced whisper room, put it in this office, and we have like this crazy 30 to 40 hertz standing wave in that booth. I mean, it's crazy. We have to have 3 layers of high pass filters to get rid of it. And
that's not the way you want to do it.
And it's louder inside the booth. Literally, it's louder inside than it is outside. So
see, I'm now taking the opinion that I think that whisper rooms were really, really designed to isolate vocalists from bands. The way we talk about the Reflexion filter.
Yeah,
and they really weren't designed for doing voiceover in the way that we do them.
Or they were designed to isolate, basically give you a quiet place to rehearse, or beyond that, to keep you from disturbing somebody else.
Right.
Rehearsal spaces, practice rooms, putting them in and they could, schools will buy 10 of them, put them in one room so they can have 10 pianos, in the same space. So, that's what they were really designed for. We make them work for voiceover, but it takes quite a bit of work to get them acoustically tuned to sound good.
Yeah. And you're much better off in a closet. It's a lot cheaper too if you have the right size closet.
If you have a closet that's big enough to work in. I have made closets that are literally 18 inches deep, workable for a voiceover booth. Is it comfortable? Not particularly, but
how long are you in there?
It can work. A couple little news tidbits, and then we'll let y'all go. It's funny that the Voice Bunny topic came up. Did you guys hear that, or did you guys see that they were on NPR?
I got to listen to that story.
Yeah, Alex Tornegra and Tanya Zapata were on the NPR's Marketplace Tech program. So if you want to hear a little bit of what they have to say straight from them, there might be a little interesting place to check out what they have to say. I'm a little impressed. They got enough attention from the media to get on NPR. So
really,
Alex knows what he's doing. Another thing that's a little bit more useful for everybody is you must be living under a rock if you haven't heard this, or you don't do audiobooks, but ACX raised the stipend limit to 15 books, and you can make, I think it's $100
per recorded hour.
Per recorded hour on those stipends, up to a maximum of $2,500. And that goes until, it's not, is it in this email? I think it goes until March or something like that.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, till the end of March. So there you go. There's a great way to, if you've been thinking about trying an audiobook, or you've been doing them for a while and you don't really want to do ACX, but this is a little incentive.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like picking cotton.
Yeah.
Other than that, next week, we don't have a guest next week because you're not going to be here next week.
No, I know. I have a conflict, and it's a rare conflict, and so we're gonna switch things around, and we're gonna do a Google Hangout, and Dan's gonna be on there, and so that particular show will only be on Google or YouTube. So if you want to watch the show, you don't have to be in the Hangout, but if you want to watch it, it's going to be streaming on YouTube. So
I can put it on. I can put it on Ustream.
Oh, we'll see.
I know how.
Maybe Dan can pull it off. I didn't want to make it hard on you, Dan. But we'll see what we can do. But anyway, it's going to be a Google Hangout on the 13th of January, and then we'll resume our normal shows after that.
That's right. And if there's any guests you would like to see on our show, let us know. EWABShop@gmail.com, and that way we can get them on here. I mean, we thought we've had everybody on, but then I go through, a lot of you get an invitation every week, through Facebook, through our Facebook page. And I'm looking through all these names and people who have been on the show. And, Rob Paulson's in there. He gets invited every week. I think he's actually showed up in our chat room once or twice.
Yeah.
We want to get him on.
Yeah, we'll get him on one of these days.
And Maurice LaMarche and a few other people. There's a lot of great talent out there. I know we want to get
Debbie Derryberry.
Debbie Derryberry, and Bob Bergen, I'm sure, wants to be on again so he can yell at me about one thing or another. And there's a lot of other people out there too. And there's a lot of people who are, regular attendees to our show who I think might actually make an interesting guest. So send in your request of why you would be an interesting guest. Here on East West. I just stuck my foot in it there, didn't I, Georgie?
I love it. No, it's fantastic.
Yes. But anyway, I'll be back here next week with our Google Hangout. If you want to be in the Google Hangout, there'll only be, because you won't be here, we have 9 openings for that. And so email us here at ewabshop@gmail.com and say you'd like to be in the Google Hangout, and I will make sure that you get RSVP'd in there. And then you can come in and we'll just have a nice little group discussion. One of the other things I was thinking about doing before we sign off, and I was figuring maybe we should talk about this in a production meeting, but maybe we should try and get a couple of really good people on here on one night and have a panel discussion about something.
Oh, there you go. Let's make it really interesting with Skype and see if we can blow it up.
No, we just do it on a Google Hangout.
Yeah, do it a Google Hangout. Google Hangouts definitely seems to be more bulletproof than Skype when it comes to multicam chat. I mean, we have not had, other than the learning curve, Google Hangouts have been fantastic for us. So I think that's a great idea.
I was talking about stuffing them all in your office.
That would be okay. Anybody local? Yeah, I'm in. No, I think that'd be a really cool idea. It's something that didn't even occur to me. So we'll look forward to making that happen in the coming months.
All righty. Well, that's going to tie it all up in a nice little bow here post-Christmas, although it is January 6th. Isn't it an Epiphany today for all you Eastern Orthodox folks? And I'll be here next week. In 2 weeks, we'll be back live with East West Audio Body Shop. Our thanks again to Stephen Lowell from Voice 123 for joining us.
Thank you,
of course, our wonderful producer, Catherine Currendon, Buffalo native, and for all the great work she does in helping us organize and getting this show together every week. You think we just show up every week? Show prep is everything. And of course, Jason Lawson for doing the show notes. And of course, our wonderful wives for putting up with this BS every single week.
Except next week. But I
next
digressed.
week. No, well, yeah. See, you're paying the debt next week.
I got to pay it back at some point.
Anyway, it's 10:30 here in the East, and it's obviously
7:30 in the West. Time for dinner.
In the West. Time for dinner, and time for me to get yelled at about one thing or another. Anyway, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
George Wood in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Have a great week, everybody.
Ciao.